today on Divorce Court.
When people look at me, they look at me for a visual image, and that's part of my brand. And I feel like my man should be a reflection of that.
I think my style is just as good as his is. Tamaric is very bossy, controlling. He needs to accept his man for what he is.
I want him to look like how I look. I drip sauce and pop flavor. I need him to be the Kanye to my Kim.
Divorce Court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Tamaric Johnson and Cedric Loyd. The two of you have been together for about a year, engaged for 6 months, but you're not quite sure if you're going to get married. That's why you came before me before your vows. I had you take my compatibility test. You gave me your license with permission to tear it up. Should I think your union is ill-advised? Mr. Johnson, I'm going to start with you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your relationship and why you're here today?
Well, Your Honor, my relationship with Cedric, I love Cedric. Can I start off by saying I love him?
Please do.
And I definitely want to be with him. I definitely feel like this is somebody that I could build with and genuinely be in a relationship with. However, we've had previous incidents and even present incidents that have deteriorated our trust, if you will.
Give me a few of the incidents.
We were living together at the time, and I had went through his phone, and it's this app called Snapchat. Now, on Snapchat, you can have conversations with people, send pictures and videos and all of these things, but it leaves no proof of...
Because it goes away.
Right, basically. So I seen a name that made me a little curious on who the dude was. So I asked him, you know, hey, Cedric, who is this guy? Immediately, he lied, and he said that the dude worked with him. Now, mind you, at this particular point, Cedric had 2 jobs, and I was very familiar with all the co-workers that he worked with on both jobs. You know what I'm saying? Because I brought him lunch frequently, you know, I picked him up and dropped him off at work frequently. So
you knew who was who?
Correct. So when he told me that the dude worked with him, I immediately knew he was lying, but I had no proof. So I couldn't prosecute him without my proof. You know, I had to get my proof first. So the way my God worked, I had prayed about it, Your Honor. I say, God, I say, listen. I say, I'm serious though, Your Honor. I say, God, I say, listen. I say, Lord, please show me, because it's unsettling in my spirit. So the way it worked and the way God worked, he had woke me up one morning with a message on Facebook from an unknown person. And the person tells me, they say, are you aware, the message reads, are you aware that your man is messing with my man? Now listen, immediately, I said, listen, call me, baby, because this ain't no conversation that we need to be having via text message. Call me, baby. You know, call me. So the boy, Your Honor, the boy, he calls me, and he, you know, he gives me all the information. He tells me, you know, Cedric had been messing with his boyfriend. He said that they never worked together, that the boy worked in another branch, and that he used to transfer clients to Cedric's jobs, and that's how we met. Now, the boy did inform me, mind you, he told me a whole bunch of things that Cedric said the boy told him, which I knew was true because these were only things that could be validated from my man. So the boy told me that Cedric told the boy I was from Florida. You know, we were living together at the time. He said that Cedric told the boy that he wanted to move out with me and move in with him.
Mr. Loyd, did all that happen?
Yes, Your Honor, it did all happen. But let me tell you the reason why I did it, though. So a couple days before, you know, he found out, I had his phone and I was going through his phone. And I looked and I seen that somebody had sent him a message, and it was just some, you know, I could tell it was another dude that I didn't know. It was an unfamiliar name. So I clicked on the message and I'm scrolling through the messages, and the messages say, hey, beautiful, you're sexy, you're gorgeous. Call me, hit me up. And the dude had sent his number, you know, in his inbox. So I had clicked on the number as if I was gonna call, and he got the number saved as some initials in his phone.
Your Honor.
That happened to Mr. Johnson? You wouldn't care to respond to that?
Your Honor, this is the thing. Let's be honest here. I'm a public figure. I'm a rapper / model. And I do these things publicly. You know what I'm saying? So I have a big following that's growing. You know, this year my following has grown over 20,000 followers. Like, it has grown. Like, I'm really taking off. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people show me love, and a lot of people show me respect. And part of my brand is beauty. So a lot of people think I'm beautiful. You know, a lot of people think I'm pretty. I mean, I don't feel like, you know, that has nothing to do with me. However, the dude did send me his number. I did save the number, but there was no messages. There was no call.
You weren't doing anything wrong.
No.
You wouldn't
I just saved the number.
Can you give me one more suspect thing that Mr. Loyd has done that has broken your trust?
I can. It was this one time, Your Honor. We was laying down, and Cedric can vouch. We was laying down, he was asleep. His phone is going off. I mean, it's a ticking time bomb. Like, I thought it was gonna explode. Like, it's just going off, and he's asleep, I'm up. So I look over at the phone, I see who it is. It's his ex. And I just broke down crying. Cedric woke up from hearing me crying. He asked me what was wrong. I didn't even want to tell him what was wrong with me because I didn't understand. In that moment, I couldn't fathom an excuse that he could tell me on why his ex was hitting him up. No one at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
That ain't nothing open that late but legs and liquor stores. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why is your ex, number one, it's already an issue that your ex is hitting you up, but the fact that he's hitting you up in an ungodly hour, I have an issue with that. And I didn't feel like there was nothing that he could say to explain.
Mr. Loyd, were you getting hit up at 3 a.m. from an ex? And if so, why?
I would like to know the answer to that question myself.
You just gonna plead ignorance. You don't know what went on.
Honestly, though, it was actually around like 6 in the morning, but I have no idea, you know, why the guy was even hitting me up. He obviously saw that I was in a relationship. You know, I was very most public with our relationship on social media.
Yeah. So you posted about Mr. Johnson, and everybody knew you were together.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Why is my man the first thing that you thinking about as soon as you wake up in the morning? You know what I'm saying? That's how my mind thinks. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real.
Yeah, it's suspect.
It's very suspect.
Very, very, very suspect.
When I walked outside to the window of his car, he was in the driver's seat. He had a situation out, and I had seen, Your Honor, that there was some dudes out there.
You can respond briefly and not too detailed. So, Mr. Loyd, you say Mr. Johnson is controlling. Why don't you tell me a story or two that would illuminate that?
Well, Your Honor, Tamaric tries to control the way I dress, for one. He says that he wants me to, quote unquote, match his fly. So,
Is he failing in the fly department?
Your Honor, this is the thing with Cedric. Going back to me being a public figure, I'm a brand. And I'm really, like, I have to move and do and say and speak in a certain type of way, like, because people are legitimately watching me for certain things. And my visual image is one of those things. I'm not saying that Cedric can't dress, but I pops flavor and I drip sauce everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, anytime I step out, I'm popping flavor, I'm dripping sauce. They already know I'm coming through, shutting it down. I just want my man to be a reflection of that. Like, when they see him, can he be the Kanye to my Kim? Like, can I get that? Like, I don't feel like that's controlling. I don't feel like that's asking for much.
Now Mr. Loyd, he just wants you to pop some flavor.
And drip some
sauce.
And I drip sauce, too.
Do you understand what he's looking for? I mean, I'm not saying, because I think you look, both of y'all dress better than I do. I can't look that good in regular stuff. I don't know how to, I have no flavor to pop.
But, Your Honor, also, like, another reason why I say he's controlling is this was about six months ago. We were on our way back from one of his performances. We're on our way back to the house, and I really have to potty really bad. And so I decided to stop at a store, at like a little convenience store or whatever, so I can go use the bathroom. I get out the car, and the bathroom is completely full. It's like 100 people at the gas station. So I decide, okay, you know what? I got a cup in my car, and I'm a man. I'm finna go up in this car. So, you know, I went in the car, and he comes up asking me, what you in here doing? Why you zipping up your pants up?
Your Honor,
Mr. Johnson, do you recall that incident?
I felt like when I walked outside to the window of his car, he was in the driver's seat, and he did have a cup with his junk
situation
out. Yeah, with a situation. His situation, Your Honor, he had a situation out, and he was peeing in the cup. But I had noticed unexpectedly that he had a minor erection. Your Honor, I was just confused. You know, and when I looked around, you know, Your Honor, I'm observant. And I had seen, Your Honor, that there was some dudes out there that was looking, you know, decent. We're not blind, Your Honor. You know, we're not blind. You know, there was some nice looking men out there, and I couldn't help but to think that that was the cause. Now, mind you, jokingly, Your Honor, I made a few statements. Mind you, I'm a little tipsy, I'm a little lit. So jokingly, I made a few comments to him. Immediately, Cedric got upset. Cedric threatened to put me out on the highway. I almost tried to throw his car in park on the highway. Tried to throw his car in park and told me to get out of his car because I was joking around about his minor erection. But I just felt like it was funny to me, Your Honor. Like, I really didn't understand why you had a minor erection and you were peeing.
Okay, now, you can respond briefly and not too detailed.
He was going on and on and on about the situation. So at this point, you know, I'm livid. I'm like, you know, I don't even want to talk, like, why are you going on about the situation? And all a guy had to do was speak.
I got you. And I'm glad we were talking about this because the next thing I do want to talk about is the manner in which you two argue, because apparently y'all show out a bit.
I sprint back out the house. I'm fixing to get ready to go. And as I'm reversing out of the parking lot, he jumps from the second flight of stairs in the apartment complex off of the patio.
Onto what?
On top of my car.
Mr. Johnson, would you care to give me your version of that event? How would you react if your partner's ex called him or her at 3 a.m.? Tell us what you think at facebook.com/Divorce Court. Divorce Court will be right back. Tell me about the time you two broke up, because somebody jumped off of something.
He found out, okay, this was around the time he claimed I, quote unquote, cheated on him. Well, after he said that I cheated on him, he agreed that we would try to, you know, stay together and work our issues out or whatever. So it wasn't even 3 days later, I come home from work and I was getting ready to walk up my stairs, and I noticed him and another guy sitting outside on the staircase together. So I didn't even say, at that point, Your Honor, I didn't even say anything. I just continued on walking in the house. I just walked right past and I just gave him a little look like, you know. But so I walk in the house and I change my clothes and I sprint back out the house. I'm fixing to get ready to go. So I done crunk up my car and I'm driving, I'm in reverse. And as I'm reversing out of the parking lot, he jumps from the second flight of stairs in the apartment complex off of the patio.
Onto what?
On top of my car.
Mr. Johnson, would you care to give me your version of that event?
Your Honor, I'm not sure or for certain how many days after I had found out that he had cheated on me that this was. However, we were still in a very much rocky place in our relationship. So the person that I had invited over to the house, I didn't have many friends in Dallas. I'm not from Dallas, I'm from Florida. So I didn't have many friends in Dallas. The dude that was he wasn't even a friend of mine. He was just somebody I needed to vent to about my relationship. Like, I was talking to him about my relationship. Now, mind you, when Cedric came home, we didn't speak because, like I said, we weren't on really speaking terms. You know what I'm saying? Like, we weren't on the best of terms.
But I want to know why you flew out off the balcony.
Because he thought, no, Cedric tries to do this to me. Cedric, when I'm ready to talk about something or I feel like it's time to talk, Cedric likes to run and hide and stick his head in the hole like an ostrich and act like, you know, the stuff never existed. And it's like, you can't do that. Like, you can't run from me. Like, you can't run from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, moral of the story, you can't run from me. If I have to turn into the FBI, if I have to turn into Spider-Man, if I have to turn into Judge Lynn Toler just to get the information that I need out of you.
That's what you're gonna do.
I'm going to do it. Because I feel like I'm owed that. I feel like I'm owed an explanation.
So you jump off the balcony.
I jumped from the second floor to his vehicle. And once I jumped on the vehicle, I was like knocking on the windshield. Like, I was comfortable, like it didn't hurt or nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was very much giving Spider-Man. Like, I was very much giving stunt queen, like I've been doing this my whole life. Like, and I guess when you're angry, you know, but when you're angry and like if you're really mad or you're really into something and you fall and you scrape, you know, it don't hurt.
Don't hurt,
so
right.
That's what it was giving. Like, it didn't hurt, like I wasn't bothered. I was knocking on the windshield trying to get him to open the door that he would not open. So I had to threaten Cedric multiple times. I will kick your windows in if you don't get out and talk to me like a grown man.
Get off the hood and talk like a grown man. I got a whole compatibility test. I got a professions of love I need to do, and I'm running out of time. So I'm gonna see if I can compartmentalize all this and pop some flavor on you, and wrap this up the way it should be wrapped. What would you do if your partner gave you the silent treatment? Share your opinion on Twitter and Instagram @Divorce Court. Divorce Court will be right back. I just had to remind myself, we are here on a Before Your Vows. We've talked about all the lumps and the bumps and the bumpy roads, but I want you to give me 30 seconds, and just 30 seconds, Mr. 30. All positive. Why Mr. Loyd is the man for you. Are you ready? Go.
Because he's sensitive, he's emotional, he's caring, he's loving, he's chocolate. He got bone structure in his face for days. And he's really genuine. I feel like he authentically loves me. For me, I don't feel like I have to put on a charade. I don't feel like I have to be a character. I feel like I could come out of all this or put it all on and he gonna love me either way.
Either way.
You know, I
Lovely.
feel like he's genuine.
You get an A for that one. Mr. Loyd? The bar's been set pretty high. 30 seconds. Why Mr. Johnson is the man for you. Go.
I love Tamaric. He everything to me. He's been there during times when I needed him the most. You know, this is my first time being engaged. I've never been engaged with somebody before, so that's how I know that this man right here is the man for me. The love is just unconditional.
I'm pretty.
What?
You forgot
what?
to say I'm pretty.
He is
Tell
pretty.
him he's pretty.
He's pretty. He knows he's pretty. You beautiful, babe.
I like you two. I think you two fit together. I think you just, ooh, like that. You got one problem, though, is that you're running on how you feel all the time, and you never stop to assess the situation logically. And just because you're fabulous don't mean you can't be factual, too. And all I'm trying to say is this. Let the emotions ride a little, pop and flash on the outside, but when you come home, bring it down and bring it together. You're not quite ready to be married. So I'm gonna slide this marriage certificate off the table and take it with me. But give it time to grow into it, manly and stably. And flash on, brothers, flash on. This matter is adjourned.
I think we're still gonna be together. I think we're definitely going to slow down a bit and take our time and not rush into getting married. But I definitely feel like we're gonna continue to build our relationship, definitely.
Definitely. I love him still the same. We just maybe won't get married so soon, but we're definitely gonna continue, engaged.